Hello fellow lovers of the liminal and the weird, and welcome to another video by Liminal Spaces. Today I'm trying something new. I'm trying to show off some of my books. And the first thing I thought of when I started thinking about showing off my books was how much I would love to show off my favorite horror illustrator, which is a man named Harry Clarke. And Harry Clarke is most famous for his illustrations of Edgar Allan Poe's Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Now, this is a more recent print. Finding older copies of this book is very difficult, so I'm showing here a Franklin Mint version. But right away, you can start to get an idea of what you're in for when it comes to Harry Clarke's illustrations. So yeah, this is a Franklin Library edition, which doesn't have all of the prints from Tales of Mystery and Imagination. If you can find that one, that is the one to have. But look at this detail. So Harry Clarke was Irish. He was born in 1889 in Dublin. And he was primarily a stained glass artist, but he also did work as an illustrator. He was highly inspired by the Art Nouveau movement and also the Art Deco movement. You can see both those in there. And for me, it's just these incredibly, well, they're very full. His pictures are very full. There's a lot going on. And they're also just very strange. If he ever did any work for Weird Tales or anything like that, it would be interesting to dive deeper into this artist, because the book I'm going to show you next is what made me fall in love with him, because unfortunately I didn't have his Poe book, so these are pretty new to me. Now, the saddest part about this copy of the book is that it doesn't have any of the color illustrations. If I can find them, I'll put them up here, because his color illustrations are also really, really, really incredible. But the reason that I was making this video, and the reason that I fell in love with Harry Clarke, is actually because of a book, a copy I have of Faust, that he did the illustrations for, that I've had for a long time. So that's what I'm going to show you now. I think once you see this, you will love this illustrator as much as I do. But we open to this page. And I remember the first time I opened this book, because I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool devil on the outside. But then I opened it and went, oh my goodness. And this is the first time I had ever heard of him. I love this one, because this is, I think, a candle here, but you can see there's all these little people climbing up on this terrifying person there. And then you have this kind of stuff. And just every page at the beginning of this book is incredible. So this is a Three Sirens Press book, and I think it's from the 60s or the 70s. I'm not quite sure, because it doesn't have a date, or I missed the date. I don't know, he's very Lovecraftian. I wonder if he ever did any work for Lovecraft. It would be interesting to see, because all these little things he does all over the pages are really incredible. I mean, look at this up here. just looked it up, and it doesn't seem like he did any Lovecraft. In fact, it doesn't seem like he did much at all. He did Poe's Tales of Mystery and Imagination. He did this Faust, and there's color plates for this one as well that I don't have. They weren't in this version. I'll try to put some up here on the screen. It seems like he also did Hans Christian Andersen's Fairy Tales book, which I'd love to find. I'll have to keep my eye out for that. I feel like he kind of presaged psychedelic art. There you go. That is probably my favorite horror artist. He's kind of underrated, and it seems like it's because he didn't do a lot of work. Would have been wonderful to see him get into Weird Tales and the other pulps, but unfortunately it did not happen. Alright, this is my first time trying to do one of these table down shots. I hope it worked out okay. If you liked it, please click like, and if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. I'll be making a lot more of it. Thank you for watching.